Hey, what's up guys, Kadachi here and welcome back to the channel. Got a new build for you guys today. It's going to be a Bonecage Bonestorm Abyssal Lich. We got off the Fulminating Concoction Pathfinder and started looking around at what we would play next. And I scrolled around on YouTube and saw a few Abyssal Lich setups, and there was a content creator by the name of Lariel Irie, sorry if I butchered that name, but I asked him what setups he would use on the Abyssal Lich after watching his video, and he gave me some insight and I decided to go with that, and here we are. I'll also leave a link to his build in the description. It's an amazing build and an amazing build video format. I actually enjoyed the video itself more than the build, so I hope you guys enjoy that. Nonetheless, we're able to conquer every pinnacle with this build. It is super giga damage. Our Bonestorm is sitting at a 3 mil tooltip at base. We can peak about 5 mil, 6 mil maybe. As for our ad clear, we were running Trample Toe for like a vast majority of the start of the build, but near the end we just switched to regular boots and then a Detonate Dead cast on crit setup, which is just absolutely ridiculous for our map clear. I definitely plan to use the Abyssal Lich a lot more. It has quite a bit to offer in terms of utility and damage for attack and spellcaster based builds, so I'll definitely play around with that a bit. All in all, I really ran into no issues with running this build. The mapping is just really good and group mapping is super good as well. In terms of the Abyssal Lich's Umberwell, you can choose to scale super high in a defense, super high in AoE, attack, skill speed, whatever you want. We decided to go more of the AoE side for mapping and a little bit into ES. So we really don't care a lot about scaling super high energy shields since we have a lot of AoE and nothing's really touching us majority of the time. We have a bit of ES recharge rate in there as well. Just for when we do get hit, we're just able to heal our energy shield really quick. Other than that, we just use all the minions for utility, and we spec into straight up damage when we're doing pinnacle bossing. All in all, I think this is a super fun build that I think you guys will enjoy a lot. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. I had a blast with it, and it can overall just handle any bit of the content in the game. But I'll leave you guys with that information. Won't keep you here too long. Let's hop into the gear. So starting off with your wand, this is actually one of the more easier things for you to acquire within the build. You can craft this up yourself really easily. You want to make sure to purchase a +5 level physical spell base. I didn't have one. I bought this one like this and just hit half of the craft. But you start off with a Fizz level spell base, homogenize, suffix the crit chance and crit bonus, and then you want to desecrate prefix, and then you want to homogenize until you hit spell Fizz and spell damage. Hit the desecrate extra Fizz, and there goes your wand. For your first ring, you're going to want to pick up a Seed of the Cataclysm, a super good ring for our damage since we're scaling crit and getting multiplicative crit damage bonus, so you want to get this with the highest rolls of those two. For your other ring, you're going to want to get a ring exactly like this, a Tenedris ring with these exact mods, minus the evasion rating. You don't need that at all, but the one problem you can run into with making this build is getting the reses. You are scarce for res everywhere. You want to get it wherever you can put it, so definitely want to get a ring like this with the highest chaos, highest single res you can get, and the highest all res with cast speed preferably. For your amulet, you're going to want a +3 all spells, cast speed, global defense with the highest spirit, and energy shield as possible, and your extra stat can be whatever you want. For me, I went for crit damage bonus, and we are anointing this with Cook. We also managed to hit the Sanctify like a day ago and hitting the +4 spells, so that was super huge, but not a necessity. For your chest piece, you're going to want the highest energy shield as possible with the highest spirit, 2 of the highest reses as possible, and you're going to want to desecrate spirit reservation efficiency on there as well. For our gloves, these are basically mandatory for our mana regen. Definitely want to pick up a pair of Night Scale. As I said, we are scarce for res within the build, so these are the cheapest triple socket you could get out of everything in the build. So try to get a pair of these and just slot some resistance in there. For our belt, we're running the new Darkness Enthroned with the helmet mod for 100%. This is super giga for reserving our spirit for more damage, energy shield, whatever we want. For your boots, you're going to want the highest movement speed as possible, highest energy shield as possible, with 2 of the highest resistances as possible. You can go for 100% increased effective socketed items with double or triple socket boots, but that's not a necessity at all, and you can just go for another res if you want to as well. For your focus, you're going to want a +3 spells with the highest crit chance, crit spell damage bonus. You can desecrate, increase area of effect on there as well for your detonate dead and Bonecage. You're also going to want the highest spell damage and spell physical damage. For your helmet, you're going to want a Alpha's Howl with overcap spirit, and you can socket that out with increased reservation efficiency of minion skills. I'd say here's another important part of the build, your mana flask. I wasn't running this, but I would heavily suggest getting a mana flask that sacrifices your life. Super huge on the mana regen. Just another alleviator for when we're spamming spells and there's no enemies for you to kill and you're just running low on mana. This will just get you right back up and going again. For your charms, you're going to want to pick up a freeze charm, a stun charm, and a fall of the axe for those chilled ground and Tim Chainmail. For those who don't know, to lock yourself in low life, you're going to be wanting to use the Visage of Aya helmet, and if you would like to know how to do that, I would suggest just searching it up on YouTube, Google, it'll tell you how to do it right in there. Another option for your damage, which I did use for a little bit, is Melting Maelstrom. Since we basically have infinite mana regen, we can make full use of this flask, and we are scaling chaos damage, so it is really good. You can definitely play around with this if you want to. As I said in the beginning of the video, we did run Trample Toe for a vast majority of this build until we decided to put a cast on crit setup going. But if you don't have the budget for high spirit, I would heavily suggest just running Trample Toe. You can basically just clear all maps, juiced or whatever, with just these boots alone. But I prefer the Detonate Dead cast on crit setup so I can have distances and movement speed and more survivability. But with Trample Toe, you can just scale more into the energy shield minions, and that'll help out. As per usual, if you would like to see the DPS of the skills, here you go. And if you would like to see the support gems linked to them, here you go. Now, I do want to leave a disclaimer. We do swap out the Skeletal Storm Mages for Skeletal Arsonists for our mapping, and we do swap out Combat Frenzy for Sniper's Mark for our bossing. So please do keep that in mind. Now let's hop into the tree. Alright, so starting with the Ascendancy, we're going to be coming over to Umbral Well, which is basically the whole bread and butter of Abyssal Lich. This is allowing you to scale different buffs off of sacrificing your minions. Within this character, we are really just utilizing energy shield recharge, AoE, and spell damage, but there's a few other things you can use for many different other setups. Next, we're coming over to Crystalline Phylactery. This is pretty good for if you have a really nice jewel. Just a free jewel socket, 100% increased effect, really nice damage, utility, energy shield, whatever you want. We're just going for more crit spell damage, crit damage, and a little bit of chaos with some energy shield. So definitely want to take this node. Lastly, we're coming over to Soulless Form and Eternal Life. If you played Lich before, you know how this node works. We're basically using this to lock ourselves to low life while it's also acting as a damage mitigator or another defensive layer. So definitely pick these two nodes up, they're really good, and that'll be it for that. As for the tree itself, anything set to weapon set 1 is for our damage and utility, anything set to weapon set 2 is for our AoE and curse magnitude for our despair and sigil of power. So coming up here, we're taking the small spell damage node, and then moving up here, we're going to take the crit chance and crit damage nodes for spells. Over here, we have the ailment threshold and stun threshold for our maximum energy shield. Moving over here, we're taking the energy shield nodes. On our next level, I was going to take this node as well. We don't really care about the reduced maximum mana because of our regen. Now these nodes up here are pretty important for the build. The mana cost efficiency, really huge, and the recover mana. Recover mana on kill, super huge. We don't really have space for a jewel, but I really wouldn't put one in the build anyway because we now have these nodes in the tree. Coming up here, we're taking the spell AoE for our Sigil Tower and Despair, and we're taking some Curse Magnitude over here with some more area of effect. We're taking the crit tree, the entire crit tree, super huge damage boost over here, and we have our jewel for Bonestorm level 3. This isn't needed, but it is super giga damage. We have a lot of damage without it, so like I said, you don't need it, but if you want damage, definitely pick one up. They are quite expensive. We're taking Resonance for our power charge generation, definitely a must. Coming up here, we're taking more Curse Magnitude, definitely pick these up. Down here, we're taking the faster energy shield recharge tree. This is super giga for our survivability, and now that we're running low life, we're getting the secondary buff as well, so that's super huge. We're taking the Careful Assassin, 50% increased crit chance, super huge for the build. Now over here, this is why I love GGG for the changes to the tree, allowing us to get more nodes for our Against the Darkness. Now we went for the highest spirit as possible. You can go for high spirit and more damage, that would be super huge, but those are very expensive, so not worth. Just try to get the highest spirit. This will already be good enough damage. We're taking the fish damage tree here, cast speed tree here, the faster start of energy shield recharge tree over here, another spell damage tree with hybrid prod speed increase and reduce. We don't really care about the reduced prod speed too much, so we're just taking the other spell damage for more spirit. And we are running trigger spells now, so we are taking this tree, super huge for some damage to our Detonate Dead while also giving us mana cost efficiency and the spirit. Next, we're coming over here and we're taking the crit chance tree and we're going up the crit damage side. Mana regeneration while moving, super huge, stacks with our Night Scale gloves. Up here, we're taking the big ol' energy shield node, super huge defense. Coming over here, we're taking more energy shield and stun and ailment threshold to our maximum energy shield. Coming over here, we have our Heart of the Well. Just try to get a Heart of the Well with as much damage as possible, or whatever utility you want for the build. It doesn't really matter. For our Megalomaniac, we have Throat Seeker and Lord of Horrors. Now, Lord of Horrors is super giga for the build. This is probably the most important Megalomaniac I would look for because we get more reservation efficiency for our minion skills, allowing us to put more on. So definitely want to try to find one of those with a good perk on it as well. Next, we're coming over to the cast speed when on low life, super huge damage boost. We're always on low life. And lastly, we are coming over here to pick up Pain Attunement, giving us a multiplicative crit damage bonus when on low life. We're always on low life, so you definitely want to come take this node. And that'll be it for the tree. As for the boss rotation, it's actually fairly simple. We're going to be using Despair starting, and then we're going to go into our Sigil of Power. You can then use Sniper's Mark, which we don't have on right now. You would then proc Sniper's Mark, and we use Power Siphon to then shock the boss because of the support we have on it, while also proccing our Sniper's Mark to give us a power charge. And then you can finish it off with just using a Bonestorm. And that will really be it. If you guys did enjoy the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really shows that you're enjoying the content. I'm going to be pushing out much more builds as per usual, so please do stay tuned. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.